Okay, I promise you all, this was not my intention. I did not plan on reviewing series finales for 3 weeks straight. It just turned out that way after all the rescheduling I had to do. But at least this is an apropos way to conclude it. Heck, I've gotten more than 5,000 requests to review this thing. Didn't all of those come from James Faraci? He's very persistent, but at the very least it makes sense, because a bad Disney Channel movie based on a Disney tween-com is something I probably should review. Looking back now, you might be surprised that something like Even Stevens was actually unique in Disney Channel's lineup back when the network had, you know, creativity. Nowadays, it might look like just about every stock sitcom they churn out. Anyway, when this show about two eternally bickering siblings that debuted around the turn of the century reached its 65-episode limit, Disney marked it as one of its shows that would get capped off with its own movie. However, the movie would premiere on the Disney Channel, and you have to wonder if the producers were a bit put off by that. I mean, Lizzie McGuire's movie got a theatrical release! But if they were jealous over their film getting a lower status, maybe that would motivate them to do a top-notch job and show up the execs. Yeah, let's just get into the Even Stevens movie. The movie opens with a guy with a database of what appears to be hundreds, if not millions, of families, eliminating them down to finding the supposed ideal one. And the worst part of all is I can't decide to make a creepy stalker or NSA joke here. Or maybe he's a creepy stalker who works for the NSA. They're pretty much the same thing. We then cut to the junior high graduation of the first of our main characters, Ren Stevens, played by the future voice of Kim Possible, Christy Carlson Romano. And naturally, playing to wreck the ceremony is her younger brother, Louis, played by the future bane of humanity, Shia LaBeouf.
What is the wombat spirit? Good question.
Bean, stop it! It's not a toy, all right? This is my job. This is what I do.
Congratulations, kid! With that one line, you made the profession of internet reviewing look classy by comparison. Now, for what it's worth, this does show why this is the one role that Shia LaBeouf was actually, you know, good at. He was meant to play a character that got on Ren's and everyone else's nerves, and he did it exceptionally well. I hate typecasting as much as the next guy, but clearly when people tried to put him into a protagonist role, well, enough critics out there have eviscerated him that I can save my breath.
Confetti? I thought you said... spaghetti.
Don't you realize that Donnie is going off to college in the fall and Ren is starting high school?
Soon you'll all be leaving home, going out on your own.
They have that day marked. The moment it occurs, they're gonna celebrate in Maui. And by the way, yes, the mother is played by Donna Pescow, who previously played the mother on Out of This World. If you remember that 80s sitcom, congrats on being as much of a TV dork as me.
This is a very precious time. We should make the most of this summer as a family.
Unfortunately, Disney won't give us any more episodes, so we're gonna have to contain it all into one badly conceived movie plot. So let's start with Ren breaking up with her boyfriend that appeared in all of one episode prior to this movie. Because nothing gets the audience drawn in like false angst.
You dump me in a pancake house and you wonder if I'm upset? Ugh.
What, Disney? You can show a teacher getting assaulted with noodles, but dumping syrup on a guy is taboo? And yeah, I get that it's supposed to show Ren as being hard luck, but still, taking away such an easy gag, lame. And then she takes a job babysitting that little special kid Beans, whose parents have dumped him off while going to Finland for 3 weeks. Because apparently the viewers really wanted this character for the whole movie.
Beans, the guest room is upstairs.
You think I don't know that?
What are you doing then? Beans, you brought your own bacon.
No, I'm holding it for a friend.
Yeah, this is pretty much Beans' character. He's a couple quarts low, he loves to eat, and he farts. Sounds like a character that should be on a Nickelodeon show, not Disney. Meanwhile, Louis has plans to spend the entire summer in the most incredible lounge chair designed by man.
She's my ultra lounge-matic super chair.
Dude, are you serious? Patent that thing and you'll soon be sharing courtside seats with Mark Cuban! That's something else about this character. He may be a troublemaking brat, but he's definitely not stupid. He's almost like Beetle Bailey in the creative and ingenious methods he'll go to toward being a lazy dickweed.
You've brought laziness to an art form.
We also see that Louis likes watching this XP of candid camera called Gotcha that I'm sure we'll never see again in this movie.
Please get out of my stuff.
Ah, don't worry. They're not for me. Louis needs more mosquito netting for his chair.
Oh, Ren, come on! Come on, Ren, you're letting the skeeters in. They're really biting this year. Must be the rain or something. Ren, can you say something? Because that sick look is really starting to freak me out.
When I get my hands on you, do you have any idea? Ow!
And there's a gag they managed to get through while the censors were drunk.
Louis, get me out of this thing!
Press the red button! The red button!
Louis!
What year did this movie come out again? What year did Kim Possible debut? Yeah, you could practically smell the mail-it-in attitude Christie had making this movie. Just get this thing over with so I can get back to working with a good co-star! It's here we finally meet Miles McDermott, played by SNL alum Tim Meadows, who says he has a very special offer for the Stevens family.
You have won an all-expense paid vacation to the beautiful island paradise of Mandalino.
Mandalino is an uncharted, unspoiled island paradise. Mandalino is populated by the descendants of island natives and shipwrecked sailors from many nations, making for the unique and varied look of its people. English is the mother tongue of Mandalino, so there will be no language barrier as you experience the natural beauty and amazing Mandalorian hospitality never before offered to an outsider.
This couldn't be more obvious of a scam if you said this presentation was sponsored by Advocare Mary Kay and Porter Stansberry. And yeah, the family buys it all and are taken to Mandalino, where they are greeted by the most blatant island stereotypes ever seen. So transparent! I admit to not having watched this show in a long time, but I do not recall the Stevens being this stupid. This is something the Bundys would fall for. Hell, Ren should be smart enough to see through this, and no, I don't buy the excuse that her judgment is clouded from breaking up with what's-his-face.
His name was Gil.
Whatever! Heck, she even starts falling for this whiter-than-white bread island boy who calls himself Mutai. This girl was valedictorian of her class! I'm gonna jump ahead because we're more than 20 minutes in and almost nothing has happened yet. Louis, who was the only person that didn't want to go on this trip, just so happens to find a comfy chair that just so happens to include junk food snacks, that just so happens to be inside the Islanders' sacred shrine, that just so happens to have a lever that he pulls that somehow causes the whole place to fall apart. And long story short there, it gets the family banished to the other side of the island. Frankly, I'm surprised they didn't put a shipwreck on that beach with the name USS Minnow. Oh yeah, and there was also this joke that the god these islanders worship is named Oprah. I'd complain about it, but given that woman's cult following, that joke actually makes too much sense. And as the family starts bickering over whose fault this all was and who can help them get shelter and food, it's here that we get the shocking truth about Miles McDermott that Disney gave away in all of the promos for this movie. He's actually a TV producer, and this has all been part of his brand new reality TV show.
Let's see how far we can push this family today before they crack. Louis, the irrepressible little brother, could never pass up a keep out sign, let alone a comfortable chair.
Looks like Steve's a little sensitive this morning. According to our research, he's been out of work for quite a while. Maybe the fact that Eileen's been bringing home the bacon is finally starting to get to him.
Tune in every day to see if the Stevens family can survive a week in paradise. Isn't life funny when it's not happening to you?
Congrats, Miles! You are now my most hated villain in the history of Disney. Take a seat, Judge Frollo. Now, I have made my stance on reality TV well known, and I stand by every rebuke I ever made. But even I will admit that no TV producer would ever stoop this low, if nothing else for the legal ramifications. There is a reason reality TV shows are not shown live, and the producers have to get waivers from everyone who takes part in such a show. Especially if it's a show where certain people are played for fools without knowing it. Does Miles have any idea of the potential lawsuits he's setting himself up for this? And no, there's no way the family would have signed away those rights beforehand without knowing it, because the father is a lawyer. Yeah, it's stated even in the movie that he's currently unemployed and hasn't been himself because of it, but I still call bullcrap that he would sign over anything without reading the damn documents. What network would actually take on the risk of this thing? I don't think even NBC would be that desperate, and they were willing to air a live production of Peter Pan that I'm sure Christopher Walken took several bong hits before appearing in. And yes, we're expected to believe that everyone in town is watching this show on edge, with no one being outraged that Miles is putting them through this and trying to stop it. Even Ren's gym coach, who knows where the show is actually being shot.
Catalona, just a couple of miles off the coast. They flew around in circles for hours to fool them.
How do you know that?
I went on one of these things called a website. They got all of the inside stuff.
When you've crafted a storyline that is less plausible than The Condemned, you've taken failure to a whole new level. As Miles fakes a food drop for the family and gets them to fracture over each side, thinking the other ate all the food first because they chowed it down faster than Garfield, two people finally do decide to do something about it. Louis's friends Tawny and Twitty, the latter of which is the one who gave Miles all the info he needed on the Stevens. Using the aid of rich, ambiguously gay friend Tom, who we won't see again after this, they make it to the island, but naturally get split up, and of course Twitty gets caught.
You lied to me, man. You said the show is fun, and it's not. It's cruel. So all that stuff I told you about, you can't use it anymore.
I see. Kratom.
Good freaking night, Miles! You are actually risking a supervillain's criminal record to get this thing done! And he's also stupid because he had Twitty locked in the costume trailer. One guess as to what he's gonna do.
Dude, take it easy. This stuff's gonna be here all day, okay? All day.
Sweet.
Meanwhile, we need something to keep Tawny from spilling everything immediately, so what can we do about her? Well, let's just draw from the TV stock plot convenience file, and the winner is shrunken to 3 inches tall. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work for this setup. Let's go with Amnesia.
But we got the evidence. How do you explain this, Louis?
You stole my food and my shirt. We don't need that. We'll be fine on our own, thank you.
Oh, really? Well, you can sleep out in the rain tonight!
We can? And we will!
Meanwhile, as Miles tries to throw a bigger loop into the plot by having Ren and Mutai break up and getting Ren to blame Lewis for everything, Twitty actually gets a good idea at thwarting the show by unplugging all the cables. Meaning he's actually smarter than most people on TV dealing with computer hackers.
Get us back on the air.
Search satellite! Search satellite! I didn't have any sound anywhere!
Gee, it's almost like that's another reason doing this thing live was a really dumb idea. I think there's a reason he got fired from your last job. Yeah, did I forget to mention that? Miles had been a producer on the show Gotcha before the host, Lance LeBeau, got him fired after Miles helped get him hired. I wonder if that's gonna come back in any way. And it's here that the parents finally start to think that something is up and maybe Miles hasn't really been helping them.
Miles gave you the impression we wanted all the food?
Yes, and when we got there, everything was empty.
Same with us. So what happened to it?
There was never any food. I would have smelled it.
Then why didn't you say something earlier and we could have avoided all of this? Gah! Anyway, they find Tawny and Twitty, and by the time Miles gets the feedback, everyone finds out what is going on and realize they need to find Ren and Lewis in order to get back at Miles. Unfortunately, Ren appears to have lost her gourd and has become Sheena, Queen of the Jungle.
I really liked Mutai, but you just couldn't stand to see me happy.
Ren, what are you talking about?
You ruined my life.
Oh, when?
Ooh, wait! Let's draw from the Ham-Fisted Lines file and get the day you were born!
The day you were born.
Relax, okay? She's not gonna hurt him.
I'm gonna hurt you, Lewis!
Only because I can't say kill in the Disney movie!
This is it, Lewis. There's nowhere left to run.
Ren! What are you doing?
I'm about to solve the Lewis problem.
This is the perfect time to tell you that you're on a new reality show called Family Fake Out.
Yeah, that's a nice try, Miles, but it's too late!
I've been acting like I don't give a crap for this whole film, and now I'm scarfing this scenery for all it's worth! No! Now who we have to blame for the crappiness that will be Crystal Skull?
Miles, this is all your fault! I'm so sorry.
Oh, come on. It's not like anyone could believe she would really do that because...
Miles McDermott! This is Lance LeBeau, and I just dropped in to say, gotcha on your own show! Yeah!
Hey, Miles! Hey! Hey, very convincing, sis!
I had a lot of practice, bro.
Yep, they faked out the host of Fake Out. And... yeah, this climax I actually kind of like. I admit to being a sucker for this exact plot twist. Not only that, it comes off with the message that most dysfunctional family sitcoms try to send, that everyone still cares for each other despite their bickering, but this one actually finds a way to do it right. And yes, seeing Miles being made to publicly look like the jackass he is pretty cathartic.
Is this really necessary?
It's necessary. You see, Miles, we may argue sometimes, but it takes a lot more than a cheesy TV show to rip this family apart.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah!
And by the way, yeah, Lance LeBeau is played by former Full House star Dave Coulier. I'm guessing he was imagining getting back at Alanis Morissette as he was doing this.
Miles, I'll bet you're wondering, how did the Stevens family turn the tables on you?
No, not really. I gotta get back to the studio.
What for? Your career's over.
And you're likely going to prison and getting your ass sued to the Earth's core. So Ren and Lewis make amends. Ren makes up with Mutai, whose real name is Jason, and supposedly finds him as the one. We get this whole ending exposition dump from Beans of all people. And the movie ends on a blooper reel with Christy putting in her audition to be the next Disney pop star, which Hannah Montana took away from her. And that was the Even Stevens movie. Didn't that really need to get made? The climax is decent enough, and the idea of a plot that deconstructs reality TV could have been really awesome. But it gets set back from almost all of the rising action just being dull, dull, dull. The story is worse than formulaic, and almost no one in the cast puts out any effort up until the very end. It's like everyone involved did this movie out of contractual obligation and didn't give a crap because they were ready to move on to other things. And the two biggest stars would go on to do just that, as besides Kim Possible, Christy Carlson Romano went on to do the likes of... while Shia LaBeouf did... Buy your torches and pitchforks here, and see you next time on TV Trash.